So you're back in a relationship with R. Kelly, and I mean, he's essentially supporting you and your daughter now.
Yes.
Okay. At what point did you start going through his tapes and start finding some of the various tapes?
That was back in either 99 or 2000.
So that was before you actually moved
Yes.
and came back.
Hmm.
Okay. Because at one point you actually started taking some of the tapes.
I just took one.
You took one.
Hmm.
Okay. The
And I
one
was
that you were
actually,
in.
right. I
The
mean, I
one
was
that you
in
were actually in.
multiple, but I found that I just ran across one that I was in.
Okay. Um, and why did you take that one particular tape when there's a whole bunch of tapes with you?
Just the
You
only
know.
one I was able to run into at that moment. If I would have seen more with me on them, I would have took those two.
Okay. And the tape that ultimately, came out in court later, uh, was that one of the tapes that you saw during that time?
No, the one that came out in court is not. The people on the tape, I recognize them, but no, that wasn't one of the tapes that I looked at.
Okay. I mean, and we'll talk about that in a bit, but, in that particular tape, there's like urination and stuff like that. Were you doing any of that stuff with him yourself or no?
No, he actually did ask me about urinating on my butt, and I told him I didn't tell him anything. Actually, I just kind of laughed it off, and was like, kind of like that. So he has a way of kind of fishing for what he can and can't do, and to you and things like that. So when he saw that I didn't just right away agree with it, then he knew that that wasn't nothing I was interested in doing. So it never came up again.
Okay. But you went ahead and stole this tape and then you gave it to one of his artists.
Yes.
Can you say who that was?
Yeah, his name was Keith. It was when he was in his group Talent. It was actually he was a they became friends of mine because they were staying in one of the same hotels that I had a room in, and Rob would give them only $25 to eat with. This is what they told me, and they would see me ordering all this room service and stuff. Like if they walk by the hallway and see my trays, out in the hall and stuff, and they were, I said, well, I can order y'all food. So that's how we got cool. So I would just order them food all the time. And, that's how we became cool.
Okay. So now you have this tape. You gave it to one of his artists to hold. And this is before the charges and everything?
Yes. Well, he had yeah, actually it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
Okay. And at one point, he finds out that you took that tape.
Yeah, he did. He found
Okay.
out.
And how did that go?
That was in 2007. Yeah, he found out about it. And he actually asked me to come to Chicago. And I came to Chicago. We talked about it. He asked me, did I think I could get possession of it? And I told him I did. And I actually spoke with Keith and got him to come to Chicago with the tape.
Okay. So I guess Kelly's lawyers said that you tried to get $300,000 for that tape.
Yeah, no. We didn't try to get anything for anything.
Okay,
No,
so
he
there was no.
actually, no, he did give them money for the tape, but he gave them, it was his idea. He said, I will give you 250,000 for the tape. So it wasn't, they didn't say, oh, if you give me, I have this and if you want it, you get, no, they didn't even want to deal with him. They didn't want to talk to him. They didn't want to give him the tape, nothing. So no, it wasn't anything like that.
Okay, but you just offered him $250,000. So
Yeah, he did. He offered them, but they'd be. I mean, wouldn't you take it if somebody offered you some money? I
yeah,
mean,
no,
that's not
I'm
blackmail if you offered it.
okay. And
So
were you involved in that financial transaction? Did you get part of that money?
I was involved in it, yes, because I was the one who had to convince them to come. I was the one who had to go get the lie detector test done, things like that. So yes, I was.
Okay. And can you say how much you got out of that?
Um, it ended up being because it was several trips. I had to take 100,000.
Okay, so you got 100 and Keith got 150.
He ended up with 100 as well.
Okay.
50 never came for no one
Okay. So each of you got 100,000
in the end. Yeah.
in the end. Now, at this point, you know, are you and R. Kelly kind of enemies from that whole, transaction?
Oh, we weren't until Daryl McDavid threatened my life and said that
Okay.
we should have murked you from the beginning.
And who was that?
Daryl McDavid, he was his accountant slash manager at the time.
Okay, so he threatened to kill you over that.
Yeah.
Did anything actually happen?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I
Like,
mean, were you roughed up? Did people show up at your house, or was it just kind of
I'm
just a vocal threat?
yeah, it was just a vocal threat. It was a vocal, but that's all I need. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna call his bluff.
Okay. So you guys get him that tape back. Did did Keith make copies of it before giving it back?
They did. That's why we ended up having to come back multiple times because when we took the lie detector test the first time, he failed. When the
Oh,
question was, were there more copies? And I guess he said no, and there were. So that was a whole nother trip to come back. Yeah.
wow. Okay. A lie detector test for a transaction. I guess when you're talking about this type of thing, then yeah, you gotta cover your bases.
Right.
Okay. So that tape gets back to R. Kelly and the copies get destroyed. Does that tape ever surface or come out afterwards or no?
Um, I'm really not sure at this point. I mean, there's some things floating around. We're really not sure what it is at the moment right now. So I really can't say, honestly.
Okay.
We're still trying to get to the bottom of some stuff.